She grew up inside one of the most scrutinized families in American political history: Secret Service agents, White House dinners, a grandfather and a father who both held the most powerful office on earth. By every conventional expectation, Jenna Bush Hager should have stayed inside that world, leveraging the name, the access, the machinery that comes with a dynasty. Instead, she walked into a third-grade classroom in Washington, D.C., and asked her students to call her Miss Jenna. That single choice said everything about the direction her life would take. Before we go further, like this video and subscribe to Zenith so you never miss deep dives like this. Born on November 25, 1981, in Dallas, Texas, Jenna was raised alongside her twin sister Barbara in a family already embedded in the architecture of American power. But where politics shaped the environment around her, it never became her ambition. She studied English at the University of Texas at Austin, and after graduating, chose teaching over any of the more obvious paths available to her. She worked in D.C. public schools, then continued teaching reading in Baltimore. Those classrooms gave her something that very few people raised inside political dynasties ever develop: a genuine, unfiltered connection to ordinary life. It quietly became the foundation everything else was built on. The pivot came through travel. Working alongside her mother Laura Bush on humanitarian visits abroad, Jenna spent time with UNICEF in Latin America and Paraguay, where she met a young girl whose story she could not let go of. That experience became her first book, Anna's Story, published in 2007, a narrative based on the life of a child living with HIV, written not for political capital, but out of genuine obligation to a story that deserved to be told. It became a New York Times bestseller. She donated approximately $200,000 in profits directly to UNICEF projects and to support the education of the girl whose life had inspired it. Writing, it turned out, was not a side project. It was a second language she had been developing without fully realizing it. More books followed, a collaboration with her mother on children's titles celebrating reading and nature. Then, in 2017, Sisters First, a memoir co-written with Barbara that offered readers the clearest window yet into what it actually felt like to grow up inside a presidential family. It became another bestseller, not because of the political brand attached to the name, but because the writing was honest in a way that political families rarely allow themselves to be. Television came next, though it arrived quietly. In 2009, she joined the Today Show as a correspondent, initially covering education stories in segments that matched the work she had already spent years doing in classrooms. Viewers responded to something in her that the format could not manufacture: a relaxed, unperformed honesty that felt different from the studied composure most on-air personalities carry. Her role expanded gradually. By 2019, she had become co-host of The Fourth Hour alongside Hoda Kotb, and the segment Today with Hoda and Jenna became one of the most watched portions of the morning broadcast. When the format shifted in 2025 after Kotb's departure, Jenna remained the anchor, co-hosting the renamed Hour with Chanel Jones. By 2026, she had spent more than 16 years connected to the Today franchise, which by any measure in morning television represents an exceptional run. The publishing world expanded in parallel. Her Read with Jenna book club, launched through the Today Show in 2019, became one of the most influential literary platforms in American media, pushing dozens of titles onto national bestseller lists and directing genuine reading attention toward books that might otherwise have found only modest audiences. In 2025, she took it further, launching Thousand Voices Media, a publishing imprint in partnership with Penguin Random House focused on discovering new literary voices. The same year, she moved into scripted television production, becoming executive producer of the upcoming NBC drama Protection, her first venture behind the camera in fiction. At 44, the career she has built looks nothing like the one anyone would have predicted for her at 22, and everything like the one she actually wanted. The financial picture that career has produced is substantial. Her estimated net worth sits at approximately $14 million, combining her own earnings with those of her husband Henry Hagar, who works in private equity. The primary engine is her NBC salary, which media reports place at around $4 million annually by 2025, a figure that reflects both her seniority on the program and the consistent ratings the fourth hour has delivered under her presence. Book advances for her best-selling titles have historically ranged between $200,000 and $500,000 per project, with royalties continuing to accumulate across a back catalog that now spans nearly a decade. The Read with Jenna platform generates additional income through publishing partnerships and collaborations, with analysts estimating those channels at several $100,000 per year. 1,000 Voices. Media adds editorial fees and profit participation on top of that. The 1,000 Voices television production arm brings further income through executive producer arrangements on projects like Protection. What began as a classroom salary has compounded, through consistent creative work and intelligent platform building, into a genuinely diversified media business. The home that business sustains sits on the North Shore of Long Island in Oyster Bay, a quiet coastal community that operates at a pace deliberately removed from New York City. The property is surrounded by mature trees and dense greenery that create a natural separation from the outside world. The exterior follows a classic American veranda style, with soft gray siding, white trim, and a wide covered front porch that stretches across the full front of the house. It looks less like a statement and more like somewhere people actually live, which, for someone raised in the White House and the Texas governor's mansion, is probably the point. Inside, the design reflects Jenna's sensibility, elegant but genuinely comfortable, without the performative restraint that often makes wealthy homes feel cold. High ceilings carry natural light through the main floor. Decorative Scalamandra wallpaper adds character to key rooms. The kitchen is finished in soft Wedgwood blue. Several rooms display paintings by her father, George W. Bush, a detail that manages to feel personal rather than dynastic, which in this context is a meaningful distinction. The dining room is anchored by black and white patterned wallpaper and a vintage crystal chandelier. Beyond it, a living room centered on a fireplace serves as the quieter end of the house, where, by her own account, she reads after long days at the studio. Behind the main house, a curved swimming pool and a separate pool house open onto a spacious patio designed for the kind of unscheduled family time that her working week does not easily accommodate. The life inside that house is deliberately ordinary. She and Henry have 3 children: Mila, born in 2013, Poppy, born in 2015, and Hal, born in 2019. The rhythm of the household follows the rhythm of the children. Early mornings, studio; afternoons that transition back into school pickups, and dinner and board games and bedtime stories. Weekends slow down further. Fishing, swimming, short camping trips, the kind of uncomplicated time that requires no planning beyond showing up. Henry, by her account, is less defined by his private equity career than by his consistency as a partner and a father, a steady presence inside a life that moves quickly and publicly during working hours and needs something quieter at its center when the cameras are off. The charitable thread running through her adult life deserves its own accounting. It began before the television career, before the bestsellers, before the book club, in the UNICEF work in Latin America that first pulled her toward Anna's story. She later helped raise $175,000 for UNICEF child health programs through its Next Generation initiative. The Read with Jenna platform has supported literacy campaigns and school reading programs, with partner initiatives raising more than $50,000 for community education. She hosted the NBC series Give, which directed national attention towards smaller nonprofits. Through the Today Show, she has participated in St. Jude's Thanks and Giving campaign, part of a televised fundraising effort that has collectively generated over $2 billion for pediatric medical research. She has supported Save the Children, Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, and City Meals on Wheels, which honored her and Barbara in 2022 for their work raising awareness around meal programs for older adults in New York. What makes the arc of Jenna Bush Hager's life notable is not the net worth or the television career or the Long Island property. It is the consistency of the choices that produced them. She had every structural advantage available for a different kind of life, one built on access and proximity and the gravitational pull of a famous name. She chose classrooms instead. She chose honest writing instead. She chose a quiet house on Long Island instead. And somewhere in that sequence of deliberate, unglamorous choices, she built something that belongs entirely to her. If you found this valuable, like this video and subscribe to Zenith for more. Every week we go behind the public image and into the real architecture of lives like this one.